With sportsmen being compelled to follow a rigorous diet in order to perform at a high level, when few players leave their spot, they really make up for the lost time, ballooning to a comical dimension after working so hard to stay in shape for all those years. Who is the most adept, literally, at letting go? Continue watching to find out. In the number 15 spot, we have Rulon Gardner. When an athlete appears on the TV show The Biggest Loser, you know things have gotten out of hand. Even if that individual was a former wrestler such as Rulon Gardner, it's still concerning. Gardner, who weighed 474 pounds when he originally appeared on the show, lost an astounding 194 pounds while giving up burgers and pizza. Let's hope he's able to keep the weight off. Up next, we have Charles Barkley. Barkley, a Hall of Fame basketball player, was always a bit large-boned, even throughout his playing days. But after he moved away from the hoops, Sir Charles took things to the next level, ballooning into an excessive weight and being the butt of jokes for having, well, a stupidly huge butt. He's gotten a little leaner in recent years, but he's still a big guy. Up next, we have Roger Clemens. Before being tied to steroids, Roger Clemens was regarded as one of the finest pitchers in MLB history. He was never the smallest guy, but he wasn't as huge as he is now. Maybe it's the stress of being on the verge of being kicked out of the Hall of Fame after his legacy was tainted, or maybe it's just the reality that he doesn't have anything to train for. In the number 12 spot, we have Shaquille O'Neal. While the aforementioned Charles Barkley was always a tad chubby on the court, his TNT colleague Shaquille O'Neal was considerably bigger. Shaq used his great strength to get anything he wanted on the field, arguably the rarest mix of power and nimbleness in NBA history. O'Neal still looks like he gets anything he wants from the food buffet, even after retiring, as he bloated up even more from his days in the league. In the number 11 spot, we have Neil Shipperley. Soccer players are frequently among the fittest athletes on the planet, having to adhere to strict training and nutrition. Neil Shipperley was one of those individuals for a long time, but with his 16-year career over, he appeared to have simply said, screw it, appearing more like a human soccer ball than his former self, as he tipped the scales without a desire to stay in shape for his sport. In the number 10 spot, we have Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran is one of the few boxers on this list who recently ceased training after retiring, and he's regarded as one of the greatest boxers of all time, finishing with a career record of 103-16. But if you look at him now, you'd never know since Duran has eaten himself to an uncomfortable position. Still, don't cross him if you say something stupid because he can punch through a wall. In the number 9 spot, we have Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo, the Brazilian soccer player, ruled supreme for a decade or so in the late 90s and early 2000s. He had a Nike signature sneaker and helped his Seleção team win the World Cup in 2002. With the second most goals in national team history and the second only to the legend Pelé, you'd think he'd stay in condition, but not so much, as photos emerged of Ronaldo looking more like a bowling ball than a player who has played high-level soccer for so long. In the number 8 spot, we have John Daly. There aren't many sportsmen who can perform what PGA golfer John Daly has done during the course of his career. Daly, a two-time major champion from early to mid-1990s, is noted for his long drives and flamboyant attire. He's also notorious for being a sloppy competitor, frequently being observed smoking cigarettes during competition and having a well-publicized drinking and gambling problem. He is a crowd favorite whenever he performs well in competitions, but he's also one of the unhealthiest athletes ever. In the number 7 spot, we have George Foreman. George Foreman, a former boxer who held heavyweight titles after battling all-time greats, is best recognized for those who have never seen him fight for his fat-reducing grilling equipment. But if you remember Foreman in his glory days, he might need to start using his grill a little more to trim the fat because he's gotten quite large. As natural people age and stop working out, but because he was a terrific boxer, it's still a little concerning. In the number 6 spot, we have Shawn Kemp. Kemp was one of the league's top dunkers throughout his 14-year career in the NBA, frequently putting defenders on posters by flying over them and slamming one in their face. He became a bit bulkier after moving from the Sonics to the Cavaliers, taking some extra pounds that altered his style from a dunker to a spot-up shooter. As someone who resides in Seattle and has spoken with Kemp several times, I can tell you directly that he's enormous in both height and weight. In the number 5 spot, we have Mike Tyson. During his fighting career, the former heavyweight champion was a nasty man. Tyson was once the most feared guy in a boxing ring because of his physical and psychological intimidation, but he has lost some of his shine in recent years. More than just the weight gain, he has become considerably more composed, abandoning the bad boy image in favor of a more nuanced presence that includes stand-up comedy and cameo appearances in a number of films. In the number 4 spot, we have Bartolo Colon. The funny thing about pitcher Bartolo Colon is that he's still playing. The 5'11 right-handed flamethrower has a great MLB career that has featured a CY Young Award and a lot of money. But he's been more generous to himself when it comes to the pre- and post-game meals, seeming fatter each time he comes for spring training. In the number 3 spot we have Tonya Harding. She is a former Olympic figure skater, but best known for hiring hitmen to assassinate her U.S. teammate and U.S. Nationals competitor Nancy Kerrigan in 1994. Harding, on the other hand, has lately become a celebrity boxer and appears to be in bad shape, having gained weight and putting herself together much during interviews. In the number 2 spot we have Diego Maradona. While the aforementioned Ronaldo was a national hero, Diego Maradona is widely regarded as the greatest soccer player of all time. On the field, the former Argentine national player was a wizard with the ball, capable of scoring at will and setting up teammates. But today, he's grown enormous, eating and drinking his way to a weight that doesn't fit his tiny frame. And finally, in the number 1 spot, we have Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson has made the spectacular seem regular during his 13-year NBA career, throwing the ball through tight spaces with ease and improving his game to a level that few could. He was agile and swift. He could do it all. Johnson, on the other hand, really let himself go after he retired, looking more like a former football player than someone who led the LA Lakers to 5 titles and 3 league MVPs on the hardwood. Well, guys, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Sports Source, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. I'll see you guys next time and have a great day. Peace.